Hi, this is Willie Crawford, and I'm making a quick video to show you how you can resize an image in an emergency without having to use Photoshop or any fancy software. What I'm going to use in this case is a piece of software that comes pre-installed in on my Windows machine, and it's called Paint. And so to find that, it's usually under accessories. So I go to the start menu, and from my start menu I go to all programs, and then I find paint. So I'm scrolling down to I'm scrolling down till I find accessories, and I click accessories, and under accessories I'm looking for paint, P-A-I-N-T, and it shows a palette as the image, and I click on that and it opens the program Paint. Okay, this is Paint. Now I want to find the image I want to resize. In this case, I have an image that downloaded to a folder. I'm going to find it. So to do that, I'm going to click on the File menu in the upper left corner, and I go, and then I scroll down to New, because this is a new file that I'm working on. Okay, so now this is the work area, and I want to paste the image I'm going to be resizing into this work area, and actually it'll resize to fit the image. So for that, actually I want to open the image into the work area. So I'm going to go down and go open, and I'll navigate to the folder that I want to find the image at, and it is this folder on my computer. I'm resizing this image here. So I select the image and I click open. Now what it did was it opened it in the work area, and as you can see, it expanded that tiny work area that used to be over here to where it would fit the whole image. And this is the image, and this is good because when I resize the image, I actually want the image to be smaller than the original, because then I don't lose any of the detail. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make this image fit within the window so I can see what I'm doing. So to do that, I'm going to click Resize, and you can see it says it's already pre-checked by percentage. I want this image to be about 80% of what it is now, so I can see the entire shoe. So I'm going to go here. You could select horizontal or vertical because it's maintaining the aspect ratio. So I'm going to make it 80% of what it is now. So I type 80 and I click OK. And when I did that, it fit within the workspace that I need. I'm going to scroll up a little using my scroll bar on the right. I'm going to scroll up a little. Now I have this image that I want to work with, and what I'm doing with this image is I'm getting rid of all the white space. I don't want the white space because I'm going to use this image in a listing online, and I don't want a bunch of white space just taking up a lot of unnecessary white space. In this case, it's what I need is I need just the picture of the shoe, and I want to get rid of the white space, and then I need the picture a specific size. In this case, I'm going to make it 1001 pixels wide. So I'm going to click on Select. This is the Select tool. Okay, now I can see that the shoe pretty much it goes fairly close, maybe a little from the top, and so I'm going to come over here because I can see over here I don't want to trim a lot off on this side. So I'm going to select about this much from the top and in that much, and then I'm going to go down and to just below the shoe, and then go over, and that's the area that I want the image to the new image to encapsulate. So I've outlined what I want. Now if I go up and I click on this crop, it'll get rid of all the extra stuff outside the image, the area I've highlighted. So I'm going to click crop. Okay, now what it did was it got rid of the stuff outside the area that I didn't need. Okay, now I want to make this 1001 pixels wide. So I'm going to click Resize again. This time, instead of a percentage, I wanted a specific number of pixels. So I'm going to click Pixels, and you can see it's 790 pixels wide right now. I want it 1001 pixels wide. Now generally I don't like going from a smaller size to a larger size because you tend to lose some detail when you do that, but in this case I need a specific size that needs to be larger, so I'm going to make it larger. So you can see it says maintain aspect ratio. So when I make the picture wider, it's going to also make it taller, just because it's maintaining the aspect ratio. So I want it 1001 pixels wide, and that'll make it slightly taller too, but it'll maintain the aspect ratio. Um, so I click OK, and I now have an image that is 1001 pixels wide, and it maintained the aspect ratio. So now I want to save this file. So I'm going to go up top and under the File menu, which is an arrow. I'm going to click File, Save As, and I like saving it as JPEG if I'm going to use it on the internet. You have other options. I won't explain uh, where I use the different options, but I typically, for things I'm going to use on the internet, save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to click JPEG, and then you click where you want to save it as, where you want to save it, and the name you want to save it as. In this case, I want to save it to this folder, but I want to give it the same name because the person I'm working with knows that file name. So I'm going to click and let it select the same name, and then click Save, and it says, hey, you already have a file with that name. Do you want to replace the existing file? Sorry. I'm going to click Yes, and I've replaced the existing file, and at this point I can take that file and do whatever I want with it. In this case, I'm going to share this file via Dropbox, and this lesson is not about how I use Dropbox, but basically I open Dropbox and then upload a file, and bam, the file's in Dropbox. And that I can make a lesson on how to do that at a different time, but for now I just want to show you how I use Paint, which again is you go to your start bar, you select start bar, all programs, and then you find accessories, and under accessories you find Paint, and that's the program I used for doing this. And so it's very straightforward. It's not a very powerful program, but I use it for resizing, for cropping, for doing some things. You can do a lot of things with it. For example, I could add lettering or words to it. I could erase things. I could change colors. I could do all that stuff and shapes and all that. But I don't usually use it for that. When you see me using simple graphics on Facebook or on a website or a blog post or something, I've usually used Paint just to resize it. And if I wanted to add some clever saying here, I could just click on this thing here that shows the text tool and insert a text box and write whatever I wanted, for example. So that's how I use Paint. This is Willie Crawford, and I thank you for your attention.